Let's look in the pot. I am making sweet corn tamales, and I'm just showing my pot, which is ready to go. I've lined it with corn husks that have been soaking in water, in hot water, so they're nice and soft. And then I covered the holes in the middle. I put some more leaves in there, and I got a little corn teepee going in the middle. Hi, Sophie. Okay, Lizzie, you're on. So, sweet corn tamales are different than regular tamales, right? If you haven't eaten sweet corn tamales, they can be made either in a sweet preparation or a savory preparation. Some people like to put raisins in these tamales. Some people like to put cheese. Some people like to put nuts, pieces of pineapple. It has sugar. I cut the sugar a little bit from the last recipe I made, and here is my batter that I'm going to be using. So you can see the consistency. There is about 10 to 12 ears of corn in here. So I'm putting it back into the fridge because I want it to stay cold. I've got a little bit of time left before I start wrapping these bad boys. And the trick with these tamales, they're very, very simple to make. They're a lot easier than making tamales with filling in them, because you don't have to worry about any of that. And then, of course, you don't have to take the leaves and you know, smear the inside of the tamales and then put the filling in and then roll them up. None of that. For this, I used a mandolin to take off the kernels of the corn, which works really good. Otherwise, you can also cut the bottom of the ear off and stand it up and use a knife and carefully go down, cutting all of the kernels of corn. The second step that we did was to puree the corn. I used a food processor for that, and you just do it in batches until you pureed the corn, and Lizzie said it looked like scrambled eggs at the end. Sometimes it's kind of dry, so you have to add like a teaspoon of water, but you don't really want to add water. I didn't add water to mine. If you don't have a food processor, you can use a blender, but I have a food processor, thank God, so it was pretty easy, and it blended a really nice fine puree. Then I put my puree in the refrigerator while I creamed my sugar, my butter, and then added my and then I took out my cold corn and I incorporated the maseca, half the maseca and half of the cold corn, blended it, whipped it, mixed it, then the other half. And finally, my last part will be to put in the baking soda, and I'm not going to put that in until the end, and I want my masa to stay cold because this is a little trick that you use if you want them to come up. So that's all of the prep work before we begin to roll and start putting these bad boys in. Duke, do you want to come over here and hold the camera while we start? We'll start
on camera.
You're gonna have to be. Your hands probably won't be.
Oh no, my thing slipped. I ended the video.
No, you did not. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the
It hasn't been there for hours.
the baking soda.
It's only been.
And once I get this incorporated, I can start making the tamales.
Are we supposed to leave it for half?
Shh.
Okay.
I need you to be quiet and stop interrupting the process. something so that we can do the best job that we can. Okay? Now there is a trick to this because there's two sides to a corn husk. There's a rough side and there's a smooth side. And you're supposed to put the filling on the smooth side, not the rough side of the tamal, okay? So just feel, there's one this was about the size I wanted. So you want about 3 tablespoons of this inside. And I just use one of these spoons because I think it works well. Then you're gonna roll. And then you're gonna take the seam, and you're gonna place them, I'm gonna place them around this little teepee. Right for now, I'm just gonna slide them against the side there so that, okay, Lizzie, why don't you come over here and stand by the leaves and hand me leaf by leaf by leaf, okay?
Okay.
You do that for me? Mm-hmm. Way over there? All right. It's got a assembly line. Separate. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Seam. And then set it inside. Next. The big one.
Do you want me to cut them in half?
No. I bet I could, though. I bet I could. Done. You can see it goes pretty fast, right? To make these. Can you get me some of the ones from the bottom? I don't like that one as much. See if I can start to stand them up yet. Will they stand? This guy is not helping. There we go. Next. Ah, they're all falling. Stay. This one has a few holes in it, so I'm going to try to keep my batter on this side. As you can see, it's really not a difficult process to make the tamales. Okay, I'm going to try and arrange them in here. Thank you. Some of these are a little bit smaller than others. And if you get a leaf that's kind of broken or ripped, you can even take a piece of it and overlap it like that and it will cover your rip. And there you go. Smooth side is where you put the masa. If your masa is too watery, it will ooze out of the end of your tamal. Now the cool part about making these other kinds of fillings or toppings instead of making fillings, and you can make them sweet or savory. Oops, we had a tamal try to commit suicide in here. It's snug. Okay. It's not an exact science, but the nice thing is that these go pretty fast. Oh, my, get it floppy like that. Stay. Stay. It's giant. Make 2 out of this one. From the bottom, okay, Liz? Mm-hmm. Pretty please. Mm-hmm. And too small. Have to use 2 for this one. You can see it goes pretty fast. We made 2 different toppings for our savory preparation. So we've got mole, or adobo actually, chicken and mole. And we also have, too freaking big. We also have beans and cheese. And we also have queso fresco and sour cream, table cream, Mexican table cream, which is pretty good. So one other trick that I did is that at the bottom of this pot, we threw in like 5 pennies. And the reason that you use this trick is that when your water runs out, your tamales stop steaming, and you may run out of water before your tamales are done, so you have to add more water. And there's about a 1/2 inch of water at the bottom of this pot underneath the little trivet. So in order to make sure that you don't run out of water, you put some pennies down there. And when you don't hear the pennies shaking anymore, you're out of water. Time to fill more water. Any questions, Duke? Not from you, from anybody that's watching. Is there any questions? If you have fresh corn, you can whip up a batch like this.
Your hubby is so lucky to have you. You can cook.
Yes, thank you. That's sweet. I don't know if he agrees with everything I do at the stove all the time, but I'm sure there's some times that I've messed up pretty bad. Can I have another corn husk? This was too small. But sometimes the food's pretty good, huh, Duke?
Mm-hmm. Smoke damage.
There are times when I have screwed up at the stove. We don't have to talk about that now.
Tell them what ingredients are inside that.
The ingredients that are inside this, I put up on a recipe, the recipe I used for this. This is just pureed corn, about 10 ears of pureed corn, and 2 1/4 stick of creamed butter with sugar. You cream the butter and the sugar together. 1/2 cup of sugar to the 2 1/2 or 2 1/4 sticks of butter. And then you add to that about 2 teaspoons of salt. So first you puree the corn like I just told you, and I just put it in the fridge and keep it cold. Then I cream the butter and sugar together, 2 1/4 sticks plus the 1/2 cup of butter, and then you add one yolk, and you mix that together with the creamed butter and sugar, and then you add the salt, which is 2 teaspoons, and then you have 2 1/4 teaspoons of baking soda that you set aside, and you mix the maseca, which I put 2 cups of maseca in here, corn flour for tamales and tortillas, with the cream, sugar, and butter and eggs and salt. And you're going to take your corn out of the fridge and mix it with the maseca and the butter and the salt and all of that. Then the entire thing goes back in the fridge for half an hour to an hour. You just want to get it cold again. I put my corn in there right after I puree it, so it's pretty cold already. And then right before you're ready to roll these puppies like you see me doing, you stick that baking soda in there, baking powder, excuse me. Baking powder goes in, and then you begin to do what I'm doing here. You're making the tamales. Just putting a little bit inside the shell on the smooth side. There's a smooth side and a rough side to these. And that's the side you want to put your dough on. So I'm almost done here. See? Normally this takes a bunch of people. Making tamales is like a all-day event. Takes forever. And the cool thing about the sweet corn tamale preparation is that I've made my my toppings, my mole and chicken ahead of time. Then I've got my beans, and I've got some nice melty cheese, white cheese, for my second preparation. So I can have a bean and cheese tamale with some salsa on top, some sour cream, some queso fresco, and a little bit of chopped onion, and you're good to go. And you can do one with beans and cheese. Yep. Why do you give me all these ugly ones?
That's all we have left.
Okay, one more.
Give me this one. You're gonna shame this one.
Give me a nice one. Give me a pretty one. There we go. Every little bit goes in. Okay. Now, I filled the whole thing, and I'm going to take some of these leaves and put them on top. Okay, hand me the leaves, please. I'm going to go ahead and start topping it off with more leaves. Why? Because I want this to steam. So I'm taking the other leaves and putting them on top like this to cover my tamales. should not see anything when we're done here. I made like a little tamale house. Tamale house. There we go. See how nice that is? Now, the last part is I'm going to stick wet towels on top. These are wet. I'm just going to do this to cover the whole thing when it starts to steam. That's the little one. Last one. Here we go. That's it. Now we just turn on the heat. And in about an hour, I should have tamales.